I was 13 years old when my world ended. My parents died in a late-night car accident while returning home from another state. One drunk driver crossed into their lane, and within seconds, everything I knew disappeared. I never saw their bodies. I never attended a proper goodbye. Adults thought protecting me meant hiding the details. One day I had a family. The next day I was sitting inside a social worker's office holding a box of tissues. For nearly 6 weeks, I lived in a temporary youth facility. Every day felt exactly the same. School. Dinner. Silence. Sleep. The other kids had problems of their own. Some had run away from home. Some had parents in prison. Some simply had nowhere else to go. I felt invisible. Then one afternoon, someone called my name. A man stood near the front desk. He looked exhausted. His clothes were wrinkled, his eyes were red, and he had several days of beard growth. I recognized him immediately. My Uncle Daniel. I had only seen him a few times during family gatherings. He hugged me awkwardly. "I'm sorry it took me this long," he said quietly. I didn't know. I believed him. For the first time since my parents died, I felt hope. 3 days later, I left the facility with 2 duffel bags and climbed into his old SUV. We were going to Indiana. At least, that's what he told me. The first few hours were actually nice. We listened to old songs. We stopped at roadside diners. We ate burgers and fries. Uncle Daniel made stupid jokes that somehow made me laugh. For the first time in weeks, I felt normal again. As evening arrived, I noticed something strange. The road signs didn't look familiar. The scenery was changing. There were fewer trees. More empty land. More dry fields. More darkness. "Aren't we going the wrong way?" I asked. He smiled. "Just taking the scenic route." I nodded. I didn't know enough about geography to question him. Around 11 that night, he pulled the SUV into a hidden D. Inside the motel room, my uncle handed me a towel. "Go take a shower." I walked into the bathroom and locked the door. Then something told me not to turn on the water. I don't know why. I simply stood there. Listening. A few moments later I heard Richard laugh. Then I heard my uncle's voice. The words were too quiet to understand. Then Richard spoke again. "How much do you think we'll get for her?" Silence. Then another laugh. And then came the sentence that froze my blood. "Before we sell her." I stopped breathing. Every strange look. Every uncomfortable question. Every weird smile. Suddenly it all made sense. They weren't taking me home. They had taken me. I turned on the shower to make it sound normal and slowly sat on the bathroom floor. I was shaking. I was 13 years old. No phone. No money. No family. Nobody knew where I was. I remember staring at the bathroom door and thinking one thing. I'm going to die. After several minutes I forced myself to stand. I wet my hair. I washed my face. Then I smiled. I walked back into the room pretending nothing had happened. I acted cheerful. I laughed. I thanked them for bringing me on the trip. Neither of them suspected anything. That night I barely slept. I planned everything. The window was locked. The bathroom was too small. The front door was my only chance. Morning arrived. Uncle Daniel entered the shower. The bathroom door closed. Richard stayed with me. He sat beside me on the bed. Too close. He smiled. "You don't have to be nervous." I moved away. He moved closer. Then I had an idea. I lowered my voice. I've never done anything like this before. His eyes lit up. I continued. But maybe we should get high first. He laughed. You serious? I nodded. He turned around and reached for his bag. That was my moment. I jumped. I slipped past him. Grabbed the door. Unlocked it. And ran. I heard screaming behind me. I heard footsteps. I ran for almost an hour. Every passing car terrified me. Every shadow looked human. Every sound felt dangerous. Eventually I reached the center of town. Then I saw it. A small building. Beside it was another building. A police station. I ran inside. The moment I saw the officer behind the desk, I started crying. I couldn't stop. I told them everything. The accident. The youth facility. My uncle. The road trip. The motel. The conversation. Everything. The officers listened carefully. Then several police cars left immediately. They searched for my uncle and his friend. But they were gone. Vanished. As if they had never existed. Investigators later discovered that my uncle had lied about almost everything. He wasn't living in Indiana anymore. He had debts. He had criminal connections. And nobody knew where he had gone. I returned to the youth facility. At first I hated it. I felt abandoned again. But months later something amazing happened. A couple applied to foster me. Then they adopted me. For the first time since my parents died, I had a home again. Years have passed. I still think about that road trip. I still remember the campfire. The stars. The jokes. The sandwiches. Sometimes I wonder if my uncle ever cared about me at all. Or if I was simply another opportunity. I also wonder what would have happened if I hadn't listened at that bathroom door. What if I had taken a real shower? What if I had gone to sleep? What if I had trusted him completely? I don't know. And honestly, I never want to know. Because somewhere out there, my uncle and his friend may still be alive. Maybe they've changed. Maybe they haven't. But one thing is certain. The most terrifying monsters don't live in abandoned houses. They don't hide in dark forests. They don't come from the supernatural. Sometimes. They smile at you. They tell jokes. They buy you food. And they call themselves family. The end.